Welcome into the Sports Buffoons Podcast.
What's going on there, everybody? Here, welcome to In the Loop, brought to you by the Sports Buffoons. My name is Tanner Dawson of the Whiskey Sports Podcast and Sports Buffoons. Joined with me is JG of the Sports Buffoons. JG, what's up?
What's up, dude? It's good to be back. It's been a long time since we did this NBA show, and that's because I guess this is the time of year when people start to care about the NBA. So it's been a long time,
right? Yeah, it's been a bit here. Well, it was the last show with you on the NBA stuff was the June show on the Buffoon, and then we turned into the Buffoon and Botkins essentially on that Monday night. So now we're back with a true NBA show, In the Loop. We'll be here weekly NBA update show, giving you guys the breakdowns of, kind of what the hell's going on, with Kyrie Irving trade rumors going on today. There's an MVP race. There's also snubs for the All-Star break. We won't get into all of those, but there's a lot of stuff to get into now that the NBA is getting close to that All-Star. So, all right, JG, should we just get into it here?
Let's hit it.
All right, let's start it out. Big one. Kyrie Irving trade rumors, okay, coming into play. So, Kyrie Irving asked the Nets organization, essentially, said, hey, I want to be traded for this deadline, right? He wants to get the hell out of there in Brooklyn. Kind of like what KD wanted at the offseason. So what's your thoughts here? What's your thoughts on this Kyrie Irving situation?
I mean, the guy just, never ceases to amaze me with it just doesn't seem like he's dedicated. And I don't think he ever will be dedicated to one specific team. Kyrie is dedicated to Kyrie. And I think we all know that by now. He was kind of being a good citizen there for a while on the Nets. I mean, the Nets are right now, they're the number 4 seed in the East. But at some point, you can only get so far. I think Kevin Durant's going to be out for another 3 to 5 weeks. And so, if you don't have a healthy KD, at some point, if you're Kyrie Irving, you're going to want out of there. Now, we can't really figure out why he wants out of there because at some point he wanted an extension. And so it could be a situation where the Nets did not want to extend him. And if that's the case, I mean, that could be just like a blessing for the LA Lakers, because that at this time, that is the market for Kyrie Irving. There is no market in the NBA for Kyrie Irving except for the LA Lakers. And so that could be a big deal if they can somehow pull off a trade and get try to get the Lakers to give up either one or both of those first round picks.
So on the teams interested, supposedly, right? The Lakers are one, the Suns and the Mavs. Now we all know Luka needs some help down there in Dallas. It's rough for him right now. He can only do so much. He misses some Brunson right now. Do you think the Mavs at all try to take a stab at this?
I just don't see it, man. I mean, not unless they think that they're ready to win right now, which I understand. They went deep in the playoffs last year. But so maybe I just don't think that – I don't know that you would pay him, though, if you're the Mavs. I mean, I think that would just be like a rental if they were going to try to make a trade for him. And I just don't see them giving up that much because, why screw up a good thing? I mean, we don't know that that's going to be great chemistry to throw him on the floor with Luka.
Right.
And I mean, yeah, it'd be great to get him some help. But I mean, if you want to get the guy some help, I mean, I just don't think Kyrie is the medium term or the long term answer there.
Is there some team that's not in the news, essentially, right? That would maybe make a run for him, or that should make a run for him?
I don't see it. I mean, the Clippers apparently are in the market
they have no payroll.
I'm just saying they're in the market to try to get maybe an upgrade at the point guard position. They really want to go after Fred VanVleet, but I don't think they have enough assets to give up for VanVleet. I mean, that would be amazing. That would make the Clippers the favorite if they got him. I mean, Kyrie to the Clippers, man, I just don't see that either. I mean,
I can't see that.
I don't think that's the answer. They would be better off bringing in like a guy like Kyle Lowry, who already has previous chemistry with Kawhi Leonard. You know, they won a championship together. So, yeah, I just don't see it. I think the Lakers are the team that will go after him the hardest. But it's going back to when Kevin Durant asked for a trade.
Yep.
I mean, do we really think that Kevin Durant wants to play with Westbrook again? Because Westbrook's going to be on the table. And I just don't think the Nets are going to do it unless they get both of those freaking picks from the Lakers.
If you're like the Sacramento Kings right now, who are playing really well, and probably needing just another piece just to stay over that hump, would you do that? But it's going to cost you a pretty price probably for that.
So you're saying Kyrie to the Kings?
The Kings?
No, absolutely not. I mean, you've got your point guard and De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah.
And Kyrie Irving would wreck whatever they have going for them. I mean, that Sacramento just needs to keep building through the draft.
Okay, that's fair. One other team I had out there that is, I don't know, they're just so weird this year. The injuries, but they're also very inconsistent when they're all together. Why not one more push for Minnesota to try to put together the dream team up there with Gobert, Towns, Edwards, and all those guys? Do you think, because D'Angelo Russell was on the outside looking in, essentially going all off season, and he could be a piece that could be moved to the Nets on top of a couple more draft picks, I guess.
I mean, that sounds like a great trade on paper, but it's one of those things. Again, that's not going to put them over the top. That's not going to make them the favorite in the West. I mean, I'm looking at the Lakers right now. They're the 12 seed, but they're only 11 and a half games out of first. So to put that into perspective, they're only 3 games behind the Mavericks, who are the number 4 seed right now. So I think, if you were going to put them on any team, I know the Clippers can't make it work, but I would say the Lakers and the Clippers, you put Kyrie on either one of those two teams, they automatically become the favorites to win the Western Conference, because both of those teams, that's all they need. They just need one more piece, and Kyrie would be that guy for the Clippers or the Lakers. But I don't see him as being a good fit anywhere else.
Gotcha. So basically it's LA or nothing for Kyrie.
It's LA or nothing. And like I said, I just don't think the Clippers don't strike me as a team that would go after him. But I'm sure by now LeBron James is begging Rob Pelinka and or ownership to try to get Kyrie in there. Because if you have Kyrie, AD, and LeBron, I mean, you're right there. I mean, they might not win the championship, but they'd be the favorite in the West at least.
So so you're thinking Russell Westbrook could be on the move, not AD.
Oof. Yeah, you have
We're
to.
talking pieces here. Like, who would be the pieces out of that Lakers team?
I mean, if you get rid of AD and then all of a sudden, and you still have Westbrook on the roster, I mean, that's a disaster. Wait, I mean, if you have Westbrook and Kyrie on the same roster, that's a fucking disaster waiting to happen. So no, you've got to keep AD. I mean, AD is like having an amazing season right now. He's like
when he's on the court, yeah.
I mean, he's like 27 and 12. So
yep.
I mean, you just have to kind of bet on him being healthy at this point.
Okay, I like that. Now, who? What about the Clippers side of things? Who would they give up on that side? Because it's going to be, they're not going to ask for a lot, just like KD's asking price in the offseason was a bunch.
Yeah, I think it would just be a package of like lesser guys. I mean, they don't have anybody that they could give up that equals his salary. But I mean, you might throw in like Norman Powell and a John Wall, guys like that. They would certainly be willing to deal, but I just don't think it doesn't. It just makes more sense for the Lakers because they've got that piece in Westbrook. That's kind of like an even trade in terms of salary.
Do you really think though that like the Clippers here? I just don't think the Clippers have enough to give up. I just really don't because Norman Powell is literally their third guy right behind Leonard and Paul George. Like
Yeah,
there's nobody in value after that.
It would be picks. I mean, they don't have a ton of picks moving forward, but they would kind of have to give up whatever the hell they have. I mean, you saw it with the Rudy Gobert trade. You know, when you're asking for, you know, a guy like Kyrie Irving, which to me, I mean, the market for him is so small, you shouldn't have to give up that much. You shouldn't have to give up 5 first-round picks. But I certainly think the Nets would want a couple of first-round picks.
I mean, you would assume that they would. So,
well, yeah, I mean, the Clippers would have to give up a couple of firsts and then maybe John Wall and Norman Powell. I don't know if the Nets would be interested in that, but at some point, you're going to get nothing for him. Kyrie's a free agent after this year, so it's kind of like you just got to take what you can get at this point because otherwise you're just going to walk.
That's true. That's true on that part. Now, with this Kyrie stuff coming into play, comes the KD situation comes back around. And, you know, a lot more teams will be interested in KD than Kyrie in this. Do you think at all there's a surprise trade with KD or some kind of deal with KD before the trade deadline?
I mean, it's possible. I don't really know who would go hard after Kevin Durant, but
sure, a few teams would.
Who'd you say, Phoenix?
Well, Phoenix would have to be one, right? Looking here at the standings too. Another team, kind of looking here would be, where is it at? Miami.
Yeah, I mean, with the KD thing is a lot different because he's locked into his contract, and so that would be a scenario where, okay, if I'm giving up 5 first-round picks to get Rudy Gobert, I understand he's younger than Durant, but I mean that seems to be the standard. You've got to give up a minimum of 5 first-round picks, and Kevin Durant, man, the dude he's getting old, man. He's banged up every freaking year, and I'm just like, do you really want to? I mean, yeah, maybe Phoenix would give up those kind of assets, but that's a lot to give up for an aging superstar that he just gets hurt every single year.
I feel like the only team that's looking to give up and sell that would have enough value would be the Toronto Raptors, right? Because they're looking to give up a lot of value players, right? Fred VanVleet, OG's over there. Sycom, like there's a bunch of guys, plus they have picks that they can give up for that they're looking to sell and essentially rebuild. I know KD wouldn't want that, but the Nets will take the value for it, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't see Toronto as being an organization that really wants to bring in an older guy like that. As you said, they're already sellers at this point. I guess they're considering moving VanVleet. I mean,
yeah,
if you were going to try to bring in Kevin Durant, I mean, you wouldn't give up Siakam, and I don't think you would give up VanVleet. I mean, you would certainly give up Anunoby. Some first round picks to bring in Kevin Durant, but they don't strike me as a team that would be interested in him. Just again, based on his age, and you know, I mean, I don't know, man. It's if I were an NBA general manager, I mean, I wouldn't give up assets if I was Golden State. I think we talked about this last year. I wouldn't bring Kevin Durant back to the Warriors and have to give up Poole and Wiseman and Wiggins and Kuminga and all I mean, they would have to give up the farm.
Gosh.
And I just wouldn't do it. It's like the Nets are going to want too much for him just because he's locked into that contract.
What about Miami? Who would they take over? Do you think Irving or Durant? Who do you think that they would have a better fit with?
Oh, I think Miami would go after Kyrie before they'd go after Durant, just because, as I said, he's so much cheaper, and there's no market. And I think if all you have to give up is
It'd be
a couple of
Lowry.
players and maybe like maybe 2 first-round picks, I think Miami would certainly do that deal.
I think it's a team that kind of needs to maybe do that deal, get that extra, that power, that value into play, and
Yeah,
have another guy on the floor to go score.
Yeah, the only way I would hesitate though on that is because of Jimmy Butler. Those seem like 2 personalities in Jimmy Butler and Kyrie Irving that might be like not those 2 personalities might not mesh.
I was wondering
well together, if you know what I mean. Like, Jimmy Butler is a workaholic and Kyrie Irving doesn't show up to work. So you put those 2 dynamics together. I mean, that's I don't even want to see that, man. That'd be a disaster.
Well, you saw that kind of deal up in Minnesota during practice, right? That's why Jimmy B ended up leaving Minnesota, was because of the practices, their work ethic. He was on Towns, he was beating all his 5 starters because he was the 6th man out. And that's why there was big issues there in Minnesota. It was because the difference of work ethic, and I think if Kyrie went there, that may hurt them more than they help them. Honestly.
Yeah, Miami, they want some dogs down there.
Yes.
With Jimmy Butler. I would love to see Van Vliet. I mean, if they could get a guy like
cool.
Van Vliet down in Miami, that's the type of player that they need, not Kyrie Irving.
I feel like they would need to do a 3-man trade because you wouldn't send Lowry back to Toronto. So
no, you're not
you need a 3-man, 3-team trade there. All right. Well, let us know what your guys' thoughts here in the comments below. Let us know where you think Kyrie's going, if KD goes at all. We'd like to hear it. So put in the comments below, guys. All right. MVP race time. Let's look in here at the MVP race, the top 5, right? According to NBA.com. You got the Joker, Joel Embiid, Giannis, Jason Tatum, and Luka. Is there anybody I'm missing in this list for you?
Oh, you can throw a lot of guys out there if you want to.
For you, do you think any of those other guys have a chance?
No, nobody has a chance. None of those. It's a 2-man race at this point between the Joker and Joel Embiid. I would like to see a guy like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander get some votes. I would love to see Giannis get some votes. But this is a 2-man race between those 2, and it'll be interesting to see if the NBA will finally go against their unwritten rule that you're not allowed to win 3 MVP awards consecutively, because Joker to me is the clear front runner, averaging 25, 11, and 10. He's got his team, the Nuggets, are number 1 in the West right now. And he's doing all that while shooting 63% from the field. So to me, he's the clear front runner. But if I was going to make a bet, I would do the plus. I think Joker is -115. I would do the plus 300 on Joel Embiid right now, just because I think that the writers, the voters are just dying to give that award to somebody else. They don't even care who, but I just know these guys hate. They hate doing it. They wouldn't do it with Steve Nash back in the day. Steve Nash, I mean, he played great. Like, he won 2 MVPs in a row, and he was playing amazing after that, but they just wouldn't give it to him for that 3rd year. And I think they're going to be dying to give it to somebody else. Now, the only thing that could derail that plan is if Embiid somehow gets injured again. He's already playing with a bad foot, but he's not really missing too many games. But if he has some sort of an injury, that's the only thing that could derail that. But if I was going to make a bet right now, I'd do the plus 300 on Joel Embiid. He's averaging 33, 10, and 4.
Yep.
On 53 shooting, and the Sixers are only the number 3 seed in the East right now, but their record is basically the same as the Nuggets. I mean, they'd be like maybe 1.5 games back of the Nuggets if they were in the same conference. So not a whole lot of difference in record. And, we'll see what happens in the postseason. I mean, if Embiid is healthy, I would love to see the 76ers take out the Celtics and represent the Eastern Conference in the finals. I would love to see that. But for MVP, yeah, I'm putting my money on Joel Embiid right now just because I think he deserves it. He's been, I think he came in second both of the last 2 years.
Yeah,
and I think it's his time. So that's what I'm going to be throwing my money on is Joel Embiid at plus 300.
So currently, the Joker has 45 games played this season. Meanwhile, Joel Embiid's at 39. How far do you let those games differ between those two before you can rule out Joel?
I don't think it matters as long as he is relatively healthy, and they're just trying to manage that foot injury by maybe just not letting him play in back-to-backs. I mean, that gap between the number of games played, I think it could be 15 or more.
And he would still have a chance to win?
Oh yeah, absolutely. If he what did you say the gap was right now?
Right. Currently the gap is 6.
I think you could easily bump that up to 10 or 12, and they would, based on his averages, I still think that he would have a shot at winning that award.
Wow. What about Jason Tatum? Because he's at 50 games. And then,
Yeah,
but I know he's in the mix. I know he doesn't really get hurt, and a very high value player for Boston. But I guess, do you think, is there anything he can do to sneak into that top 3, top 2?
I don't see it at all. Just because if you take Tatum off that team, I mean, Jaylen Brown is still having a monster season.
Yeah,
they would still be in the mix. But you take Joker or Embiid off of those two teams, and they'd be automatic trash. But I think Jason Tatum, the one thing that they're going to take away from Tatum is the fact that he's got a lot of help. That's a great team, great roster. And like I said, Jaylen Brown's just having a monster season as well. So I would not make that bet on Jason Tatum. I mean, if Embiid did get injured, I mean, yeah, they're just going to give it to Joker again for sure. I mean, I don't think Tatum has a shot at this point.
Okay. No, that's fair. That's fair there. I think I really do right now think Joker should be in the lead and is the lead. And I really do, in the end, I think it comes down to injury and playing time, right? I think if Embiid does get a significant injury that puts him out 2 weeks, that kicks him out of the running again to win that MVP award. So
yeah, they just
someone got to watch for.
They got to manage it. Just treat him kind of like Kawhi Leonard. Don't let him play in any back-to-back games, and look what you get with
Golden
Kawhi.
State. It
Kawhi is playing like a monster right now. Is because they do his little management thing or whatever, but Kawhi's putting up 30, 35 points like it's nothing.
No, he is. He's killing it. That's what he's doing. So when he is on the field or court,
right.
All right. Well, I think that wraps up here our first show here for In the Loop. Jason, you got anything? Anything
no,
else
man. Just looking forward to our buffoons bet that we did for the Super Bowl. Going to be talking about some more Super Bowl bets coming up on Wednesday. So can't wait to do that with you guys and give you some free gambling advice.
That's right. All right, guys. Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe, hit that bell so you know when we're live. And we'll catch you next week. See you guys.
Outro, guys.